Good morning, students, and our continuation of the topic. And the first of other topic is mobility, or it is also called as a physically challenged. Okay, so our next topic is the mobility and the, or it is also called as a physically challenged. Okay, so what do you mean by mobility? Okay, so mobility is nothing else but, and the ability to move freely is called as a mobility. Okay, ability to move freely. So for example, like, so if you have an injury to our part or leg, so we can't able to so take a movement, so it's a harder way to take a movement. So here mobility is nothing else but easy way of moving or freely moving of our pattern and purposeful in the environment is called as a mobility. Okay, so here they are saying that if you have the mobility, so if you have the mobility to move everywhere, and we are going to do our own self activities, okay, and we have the self esteem that we can do it, okay, so that kind of process is called as a mobility. Okay, and what are the factors affecting of the mobility? So already you knows that age factors. Okay, so the people, the old age group people having of the any kind of the disorders, so for example like osteoporosis or maybe a, so the calcium deficiency, it may leads to the factors affecting of the mobility. Okay, and next one is the energy levels. Okay, so energy levels nothing else but, so if your glucose is down and you don't have the proper energy levels in your body, so nothing, so for example like the glucose levels, okay, so the normal level of glucose saturation is not good for you automatically, so your body movement or your systematic function, the muscular, the neuromuscular system is not going to be function for give the movement. And lifestyle changes are nothing else but, so the person heavy workers, okay, so the people who are the heavy workers and they are weak in doing their activities, and fear and pain over the area. So already I have said that if any injury, so that may leads to the pain or the bones, so etc leads to the factors affecting of immobility of the person. And what do you mean by disability? So disability nothing else but due to certain accidents or some of the external factors, so the loss of limb or maybe the fractured area, the fracture of legs or limbs, so it may lead to the disability. So disability means what? Incapability of taking a movement is called as a disability. Okay, so these are the factors affecting of the immobility. Okay, so what are the high risk for the immobility? So the first one is poorly nourished. So already you knows that in a first year itself the nutrition you are dealing that cashew protein energy malnutrition. Okay, so what is going to be there here means the improper nutrition also will leads to our movement and gives the energy. And next one, decreased sensitivity to the pain, temperature and the pressure. Okay, if the person is not able to bear the pain and the temperature, external temperature, so automatically the body is not going to be regulate the movement. Okay, and some of the external central nervous system, sorry example, review of system factors also. So review of system nothing else but your head to foot organic system, for example like cardiovascular system, respiratory system, nervous system. Okay, so these all pattern also affecting the problems in the mobility also. And the unconscious patient also, so you know that the unconscious patient is can't able to so take a stimuli to take a movement from the bed. Okay, so by this mobility, so what the immobilization, so if one fractured bone is there, so they are going to make a plaster cast. Okay, so see here the picture it was showing the what do you mean by plaster cast? Okay, so plaster cast is nothing else but, for example now you have a so fractured over the bone, yes, and to correct that so fractured bone, so they are going to, so the doctor will be so prescribing a plaster cast. So what the doctor is going to do here means, and he is going to be correct the bone. Okay, so what is the abnormal placement of bone is there, and that will be placing in a correct way, and he will be making a plaster cast. Okay, so we'll be discussing so what type of plaster cast are there. See here, the cast is an immobilizing device made of plaster bandages, fiberglass or the thermolabile plastic material in order to immobilize means what? So it will not give any movement. For example, now once you have made a plaster cast, so again the hand will not have a movement for bending, and so for extension, abduction and everything, it is very hard to give a movement. Okay, so that is a thing is called as a plaster cast. Okay, so what purpose they are giving a plaster cast? For the mobility. So the first thing, already in the definition you have read that immobilize. Okay, so to immobilize, hold the bone fragments in reduction. So what they are saying that, for example, now, so that the fracture is there for the bone, yes, so the doctor has corrected and kept in a good place, and in order to hold the bone in a particular place, and all the growth of ligaments, nervous systems, muscular system to be strengthened, and they are going to place the cast, and to apply uniform compression on the soft tissue. So what is going to be there, and where the soft tissue, in order to give the movement or compression over the area. So for that purpose also they are giving the plaster cast, and prevent the deformities. So deformity is nothing else but breaking down. As for example, now one fractured bone is there, so if you are continuing without living like that, so what is going to be there, so you are still more fracture, or the still more tear is going to be there over the area. So in order to avoid that, so they are giving the plaster cast, or correction of the deformities. Or broken bone deformity means broken bones. Okay, so if broken bone is there, automatically to correct that bones in a correct place, so they are going to place a plaster cast. Okay, and what are the types of cast? Okay, so types of plaster cast, nothing else but, so different types, because fractures will be in different methods. Okay, so here first one is a short arm cast. Okay, so what for it will be useful, the short arm cast means distal forearm fractures. See here, distal forearm fractures, here they are showing, see, distal forearm fractures, and wrist sprain, and the carpal injuries. Okay, carpal bones, nothing else but these are the carpal bones, and metacarpals means these finger bones are called as a metacarpal bones. Okay, so these palm bones are called a carpal bones, and it is a forearm. Okay, yes. So further, if any fractures to these areas, they are going to use the short arm cast. Okay, and second one is a gauntlet cast. Okay, so same thing. So if you have a fracture over the ulnar gutter, okay, ulnar bone, so this is ulnar bone, right? Yes, and if any fracture to the ulnar bone is there, so they are going to use the gauntlet cast. Okay, and next one is a long arm cast. So long arm cast means from your, so here long arm, okay, from here to, and your metacarpal bones. Okay, so that is a picture of long arm cast. And next one is a short leg cast. See here, so they will be leaving off here the fingers, and because we need a movement, right? Yes, so from your lower elbow, okay, so lower elbow to and your feet, they are going to keep this short leg cast. And next one is a walking cast. Okay, so walking cast, nothing else but in order to give a movement freely, so it's a well advanced walking cast, so that they are going to give. Okay, and next one is a body cast. Okay, so body cast means full body fractures is there, means see here, yes, so full head to, so foot body cast they have prepared, see here. Okay, and next we go for the shoulder spica cast. Okay, so shoulder spica cast, nothing else but, yes, so from your lower abdomen to the your elbow levels. Okay, and also you can see that the baby, yes, here to hand. Okay, so shoulder to one hand elbow cast, this one. Okay, next one is, okay, so these are the types of casting materials. Okay, so just we revise once what are the types of casting. First one is short arm cast, and gauntlet cast. Second one, third one is a long arm cast, and a short leg cast, and a walking cast, and the body cast, and the shoulder spica cast. So these are all the spica cast materials. Okay, and next we see the what are the casting materials we are going to see in that. Okay, what is the material they are going to use? That is plaster of Paris material they are going to use for the process. Okay, so this is regarding of the slide share of. Okay, and continuation of the topic we are going to deal is that. Okay, and care of cast and the splint. Okay, so now types of cast we have seen, and what is the care you are going to see in the plaster of Paris. Okay, so here you already in the purpose we have dealt that, and the cast is nothing else but to support and protect the injured bones, and the soft tissues are called as a plaster of Paris. Okay, so what is going to be there, so the doctor, whatever the broken piece of bone is there, so that he is going to be bring back the piece of into normal muscle spasms, or to reduce the swelling, or the muscle spasms are there to reduce that, so the doctor will bring back the broken piece into the normal position, and again so he will apply the plaster of Paris or the cast, or it is also called as splint. Okay, so again what he is going to be there here means, so there are some of the types of splints, and already we have discussed that. Okay, and the next one is a material. Okay, so in the slide share I have shown you that the plaster of Paris they are going to use, and also they are going to use the fiber glass and the plastic material they are going to use. See here, the fiber glass and the plastic material, so they are going to use to harden the substances. Okay, and these fiberglass is mostly helpful for the strongest and to stick over the area of the bone part, and this fiberglass is also helpful for you to take an easy x-ray and comparing with the plaster of Paris. Okay, that is, these are the materials and they are going to use in your bandage of plaster of Paris. Okay, and application, so this application I'll be sending you the video and how they are going to apply, and which position they are going to apply that. Okay, I'll send this part also to just revise. Okay, and getting used to a splint. So after splint, okay, after applying of the splint, so what you have to do, first you have to elevate the area. Okay, so elevate, you have to elevate the area of the bone. So how many hours you have to elevate means 24 to 72 hours you have to elevate the fractured area, either it may be the leg or either it may be the hand. So you have to, it should be in the elevated position. And the second one is exercise is also very very important. So exercise nothing else but, so now for example, now in the plaster of Paris already once I have shown you that, so the tip of the fingers is free. Why? Because and to give a movement for the fingers. Okay, so that one, and the next one is the ice. Okay, so where you are going to apply ice means, so direct ice you are not going to apply, it should be packed in one rigid packed cover, and then you have to apply for the area. Okay, and then okay, so like this. Okay, so you have to keep here the piece of cover is the right size pack, so that you have to avoid if any swellings or anything is there, it will be reducing. So what are the warning signs of the plaster cast? Okay, so you see that increased pain and the feeling that splint or cast is too tight you will feel, and you will feel a numbness and tingling sensation at your hand or feet you will feel. So whenever you are feeling a tingling sensation, never and never so take a touch, try to touch the part. Okay, avoid it to touch the part of the area, and some burning sensation and tingling sensation you will feel, and excessive swelling below the cast, and loss of active movement of toes and fingers. So these are the warning signs of the cast. Okay, so how we are going to take care of your splint and the cast? So how we are going to take care means, so keep your splint and cast dry always. Okay, so never and never should not allow to so wet, because and it will make you more irritant, and you will have a, so while you are taking of shower bath, so you will be having of any sinking of the area and swelling, more infection, chance of infection is going to be there if you are keeping moist over the you are keeping a wet over the area. And next one is a walking cast. Okay, so here walking cast, when you are seeing that already the walking cast I have shown you that what care you will take. So when you are, whenever you are using a walking cast, okay, so what you are going to do here means, so 2 or 3 days for the plant to become hard even to walk on. So what they are saying to that, to wear over your walking cast. So walking is very very important, but never allow this walking cast to be so walked on a dirty places. Okay, and next one is avoid dirty. So already you shows that, say any dirty dirty or infections, so that should not be entering into your pudding. Okay, and next one is a padding. So padding nothing else but, do not pull out the padding from your splint or cast. Okay, so padding nothing else but the upper portion area you are seeing that, that is called as a padding. Okay, and itching. So in this plaster cast, the itching, tingling, warning signs we have seen, right? So that warning signs is going to be there here, but never and never allow to itch with other particles, because it's more irritant of your skin. So don't stuck anything inside of your process. Okay, and next one is a trimming. So trimming nothing else but, so never and never allow to touch the sides, and you should not be pull out the area of the cast. Okay, and skin. So you have to observe the skin swelling, and if you have any so problem, redness or itching or swelling is there, so you should be so enough to consult the doctor and inspect the cast regularly. So what you have to do, so you have to go to the doctor, contact your doctor if any abnormal warning signs are there, so you should be clear enough. Okay, and next when you are going to see that cast removal, so how we are going to remove the cast here means, see here the instrument they are showing, right? Okay, so this is only the machine how to remove the cast. So okay, that is called as a the saw vibrates. Okay, what is that instrument? The saw vibrates. Okay, so here the saw vibrates, it will make so much noise, and but it will not harm the person. Okay, up to the plaster of cast only, it will cut the area of process. Okay, and what is the rehabilitation you are going to give here means, and the broken bone, in order to recover this process, it will take a several weeks to several months to heal this plaster cast. Okay, and while this plaster cast is there, so the pain is normal, and the activity, the movement is improper is going to be there. So what is important, that already I have shown some of the care, that is exercises is very very important, because if you are doing a proper exercises, and early healing is going to be takes place, and to restore the normal muscle strength, the joint motion and the flexibility is easy to maintain. So that is rehabilitation regarding of the plaster of cast. Okay, so I'll be sending you the video and how to apply the plaster of cast also. Okay, so in this topic, and if you have any doubts, and just make clear that. Clear? Thank you.